Hello and welcome to True North Auto. In this video, I'll be going over everything that I learned along the way trying to powder coat my calipers. I'll show you everything from prepping them to disassembling them and then finally powder coating them. This was definitely a journey. It took a lot longer than I anticipated, but the results, man, did they speak for themselves. Enjoy.
Lieutenant Dan, you ain't got no legs.
So to take apart the front calipers, you're going to start by removing these pins. They just hold the other pin in and prevents it from coming out sideways. Also put everything in a bag that's labeled, so driver front, just so that way everything goes back where it's supposed to go. Some pliers. Once you can get it out far enough, get some vice grips. There we go. Your brake pads are now completely free. Put those aside. Now's a good time to also just look at your brake pad life. So, I'm getting down to the wire here. And this is also the other reason why I wanted to do this, because I know they should be replaced anyways. Might as well just make it easy on myself. Do it while it's out of the car. Alright, so next we're going to be removing these valves here. These are the bleeder valves. And to do that, I found it's easiest to use a 1/2 inch deep socket. I think it should be an 11. But these are also aftermarket Brembos, so I don't know if it'll be the same for one that came on the car. Just crack them loose. Nice and loose. And these are probably gonna piss brake fluid everywhere, just so you know. Be prepared for it. Move all your tools out from under it and throw a paper towel down. Gross. Alright, we get those off. All good to go. I'm going to be removing the pistons at the shop because I don't have an air compressor here, and you need an air compressor to walk them out. Yeah, so all I'm going to do is clean these up a little bit, throw some citrus strip to remove the paint, and then leave that overnight, let that peel all that stuff off, and hopefully tomorrow be able to clean them up, bring them to the shop, and get them 100% prepped to powder coat them. Alright, so the rears are going to be similar, but I think they're going to prove to be a little more difficult than the fronts, because last time we did these pins did not want to come out, so might have to cut them, but I'm hoping now that it's out of the car we can break them free. So after finally getting the pin out in 3 different pieces, I've come to the conclusion that cutting it in 2 places with the angle grinder is going to be the move. I cut along here and then here, so that way you can get the brake pad kind of out of place, and that gives you more room to get a punch and whatnot in there. Yeah, fun times.
So the better tool for the job would be the rotary tool that I forgot I had. That only uses discs about this big. And it's not gonna do that to your caliper. You live and you learn, whatever. So I'm gonna try something on these calipers since they were painted before. I painted them, I think, it was 2 years ago. And the reason that I want to powder coat them is because I started to notice that in a lot of places it was flaking off or cracking, and it just didn't look good. And I was worried that if I cleaned it, I would just keep cracking more and more paint off. So I'm using citrus strip, just like a stripping gel. It's just like pink goop, pretty much. But you throw it on whatever painted surface you got, and a little recommendation that I found online was to wrap it in saran wrap to prevent it from drying out. Supposedly that's gonna make it work a lot better because technically I think you're supposed to like reapply a few times and it dries out, and then you gotta like hit it with a wire brush, and it's just a lot more work. So I'm hoping that this is gonna remove most, if not all, of the paint. And then when I throw it into the sandblasting cabinet, I'm not going to have to spend as much time using that because I'm also afraid that it might mess up the aluminum a little bit. But we'll see how it goes. All right, so it's the next day. Been letting the calipers sit in the citrus strip overnight. And this is after about 15 minutes of using a putty knife, a wire brush, and a wire wheel. Just with the brush and the wheel, since it's steel wire, you just have to be careful and not go too fast or use too much pressure because you will scratch up the aluminum. It'll most likely like be covered up by the powder coat anyways because I'm gonna try to go thick with it for extra protection. But yeah. So an important lesson when using this stuff, always use a lot more than you think. This one, I remember I used a lot of the citrus strip on. Come on, focus. There we go. And I mean, it just peels right off. This one, on the other hand, I think I went a little light because this doesn't want to come off at all. So that's going to have to be taken care of in the sandblaster, which I'm not too happy about because I don't want to clog up the sandblaster and have to filter all the media and stuff. But we do what we do because why do we do it? I don't know.
All right, so now that we got the calipers, I guess as well as I could, removed the paint, we're going to take the pistons out before I throw it in the sandblaster just because I don't want to damage the pistons themselves. And to do that, you need to use like a piece of wood or you can use clamps as well. But you have to walk the pistons out because if you take one out, it's not going to build up pressure to take the other one out. So you have to walk them out a little bit. To do that, just use some compressed air. Put it where the brake hose would attach to. All right, so ran into some issues with the rear one that we started working on. The piston was getting stuck, but then Liam was a genius and was able to throw some WD-40 in there, shake it up a little bit, work his magic and break them free. So hopefully with this one, this front one, I can show you process through entirely. So what I found works to just walk them out a little bit. Use your little air compressor. Ideally, you want to have one that has a rubber tip on the end here, so it can actually seal here. We don't have one that has a rubber tip, so I was able to jerry rig one of the silicone plugs that you use to plug up holes when you powder coat something. So it's a high temp plug. Got a hole in the top, and it works. Not that great, but it gets the job done. Alright, there we go. So you'll see when you do this that some of them want to come out easier than others. So what I found works is get some clamps like these, so that way you can put them on there to stop them from coming out, because it's going to choose the path of least resistance. And this way you can get the others out without having to fight them too much. You just want to put it kind of lightly in place. You don't want to tighten it down too much, because then it's just going to compress the piston back in. So these are basically ready to come out. Let's try to get that other side completely out. There goes one. Now you're gonna have to put this back in. I'm just gonna take the seal off if I can to make it a little bit easier to work around with. All right, since that one came out, and will most likely be relatively easy to remove again, another clamp, just to hold that in place. So all the pressure is gonna go to the one that still doesn't want to move. There we go. Now we can walk them out evenly. Go. Nice and easy. There we go. All right. Now, hopefully, be able to just take a screwdriver, pry them out. Might have to hook up pressure to maybe some of them. Walk it out, but this one might be a little. Try to be as careful as you can when you're doing this too, just to not gouge the pistons, or at least you don't want to gouge back here, because this is where the seal actually happens. Here is a little less important, but you still obviously don't want to take a huge chunk out of it. That's just bad. Bad, bad, bad. There we go. Just like that. So now you can go and remove all the rest of these seals. This is why I recommend you get new ones, because these are going to want to stay in place. And honestly, it's just easier to rip them right out. Put a freaking hole, put your pick right through it, and then just swoop it out. And obviously, if you're going through all this trouble to powder coat them. You might as well just replace them. You're already here. It's the might as well effect. So for those of you wondering what the might as well effect is, it's a term that I first heard about from James Pumphrey on one of his donut videos, talking about when you're already doing something, you might as well do other things along with it. For example, if you have to pull a motor on your car, you might as well do the clutch as well, since it's right there. Basically, just something that's going to be easier from the point that you're at. It's going to add money, it's going to add time, but you know what? You might as well do it. You're already there. And I'm going to plug the areas where the piston goes into, just so that way the powder coating media doesn't score it or damage it or anything like that, possibly causing it to make a bad seal. All right, so now we got it disassembled, pistons are out. I threw the valves back in just so that way any dust from the sandblaster doesn't get in there, possibly cause any issues. And I've also plugged the hole that the brake line attaches to, again, just to prevent anything from getting in there, messing up with the threads. Let's start sandblasting. Little tip when you're using these lights, always look directly at them when you turn them on, just to blind yourself. All right, so after about 3 to 4 hours of cleaning the calipers up, scraping off paint, throwing them in the sandblaster, I was able to outgas them. I'm going to let this one cool off, and then we can start spraying. But I got to say, when you're doing this, make sure that you prep it really, really good, because I did that when they were new and I had painted it, and that paint was a pain in the butt to get off. And that's what you want. You want something that's going to be nice and durable. So be sure to spend the extra time preparing them. Honestly, I wish that I had a chemical bath set up here for these, because that would have made this so much easier. But we were able to get it done with the sandblaster and a lot of elbow grease. And now for the fun part. This is the part that actually matters. This is the part that I want to do. I don't want to spend 4 hours with one of these things scraping off paint, being extra careful because it's aluminum and I don't want to scratch up the aluminum too bad. I'm going insane. But now we're almost ready. The end is near, hopefully. And I hope these turn out good. Hey, Trent in the video. It's future Trent. They do turn out good.
Many hours later.
Boy, am I happy with how those calipers turned out. I'm so glad that I took the time to do it right. That blue looks absolutely stunning in the sunlight and looks awesome behind my wheels. Adds a whole nother dimension to the car and how it looks. Be sure to like and subscribe on this video. We really appreciate it. Also, anybody who likes, subscribes, follows any of our social medias, anything at all, you will be entered in a giveaway where we will be giving away this design. This sweatshirt, not this exact one because I'm wearing it. This one's mine. Don't steal my sweatshirt. But all you got to do is like, follow, share a post, anything like that, and you'll be entered into a giveaway, and you can win this sweatshirt for free. It's for free. And if it's for free, it's for me. So if it's for free, I bet it's for you too. Thanks for watching, guys.
If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. It's free for you to do, but it will help us make much better videos in the future. Thanks for watching.